guys, what's going on? It's Dan here. Time for me to do another one of my WatchGeek watch unboxing episodes. And the watch we're going to talk about today is the Omega Seamaster. Not just any Omega Seamaster. Omega's been around for quite a while. But in, I believe it was the February 2006 edition of Watch Time magazine, that was the first time that I myself ever got a glimpse of the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean variant. And it was a substantial watch. It really looked fantastic. It was larger than life. I have taken notice of that watch ever since then. Of course, we all know, if you're a fan of the James Bond movies, especially the Daniel Craig James Bond movies, that watch made its debut in Casino Royale. Daniel Craig made it look so cool, as he always does.
Former SAS types with easy smiles and expensive watches. Rolex?
Omega.
Beautiful.
Ever since then, I knew I had to have a Planet Ocean, and I didn't know which one I wanted to add to my collection. And I say that because since that time, since the original release, the Generation 1, as we will call it, they have since come out with an upgraded version, if you will, a Generation 2, and then most recently a Generation 3. And they've made improvements along the way. For example, the original bezel insert on the Generation 1 was aluminum. The second generation, they went to a ceramic bezel, but then they felt that, maybe ceramic wouldn't hold up under the rigors of, a true, tough tool watch, a diving watch. Maybe the ceramic would shatter or chip easily. So for Generation 3, they went with zirconium, which is pretty substantial. I mean, they actually make crowns for your teeth out of zirconium nowadays. So, they've made upgrades along the way. But at the end of the day, I decided to go with the Generation 1, kept it old school, and I'm going to tell you why as I unbox this. Now, let's be perfectly clear. You see this box right here? I want to point out that this is somewhat anachronistic because this is not the box that the watch originally came in. This is one of the newer style boxes that Omega just started using within the last year or two for all of their watches, save for maybe a special edition, which would have an even nicer box, actually. The old red boxes I felt were really cheap. And it just, I don't know, if you're spending this much on a watch, you kind of want that presentation. You want a nice, for me anyway, in my mind, I'm thinking I want a really nice box. I hated the old Omega red boxes. So I went through the expense of getting a newer box. So again, older watch, newer box. It's anachronistic, but this is the box that I wanted to house my watch in. This is the box that I wanted for presentation. So as we take off the outer box, we can see that here's the inner box, and it kind of slides out. And before I get to that inner box, I just want to point out a couple things in the side there. I'll just cast that aside. We've got the operating instructions, and basically this manual covers, when you buy an Omega, this manual basically covers every Omega that is available at that point in time. It keeps them from having to print different books. And there's also this nice little Omega card sleeve, and it has the international warranty, it has the chronometer certification, and it has the pictograms. Now, I'll show you the pictograms. I won't pull out the other two cards because it actually has the specific serial number for my watch on those cards. It would be like showing you my social security card on camera. I'm not going to do that. But you can see here the pictograms reference 2200.50.00 is my watch, and it has the caliber 2500 in-house movement in it, the coaxial movement designed by Mr. George Daniels and sold to Omega. And I'm not going to get into the technical specifications or whether the beat speed of this movement competes with other watches. Let's just say that it is a fine piece of machinery. And as you see the pictogram card, there's actually different things that are represented on the pictogram card. For example, if I were to point out this right here, COSC, that means that the watch is COSC certified. Right here, this means that the watch has a helium escape valve, and so on and so forth. So it's meant to be a real tool watch, a true diver's watch. The presentation box is just absolutely beautiful. You see why I like the newer box. And let me see if I could get this right up close. Look at that kind of jeweled piece, that little Omega insignia. That used to sit on the top of the old box, where the Omega script is now. On the new box, it actually serves a purpose. If I could kind of turn it sideways here, and you see, I can actually press this. The insignia there is actually a button, and I press this to flip it up and open the box. We get our first look at the Planet Ocean. This, if you're not a watch person, I could see where you're thinking, why is this such a big deal? But it really is. To have a nice box to go with a nice watch, it's actually really cool. I'm going to just show you this too. You could flip this up, and there's some storage in here. There's a little bag included where if there's any extra links or whatever, you could store them in there. So just really cool how they have it. And you've got like a pin and slot, so the box actually securely closes and snaps shut. On the watch, of course, and I'll slide it out here, and we've got the hang tag with the little Omega logo and the Omega Ohm symbol on the back of the watch. Here we have it right here. The Generation 1 Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean. So why did I go with the Generation 1 instead of the Generation 2 or the Generation 3? Well, let's take a look at it. There's a couple reasons that I like this. First of all, you take a look at the bezel on the watch, and I love the font of the numbers, and I love how the numbers they're kind of squished, I guess, for lack of a better word. They're wider than they are taller, and I've always loved that font. I don't know what it is, but something just grabs me about the font of this watch. Also, take a look at the back of the watch. The engraving is just fantastic. On the Generation 2 and Generation 3, it's an exhibition case back where you can see the movement, which is lovely, but I love the engraving. I love being able to see the hippocampus there, the word Seamaster, the Ohm logo, it says Planet Ocean there. Just a good case back engraving has always been worth its weight in gold for me when it comes to a luxury watch. And I absolutely love this one. It is fantastic. If you take a look at the dial, you can see 12, 9, and 6 are painted on the dial, and then at every 5-minute mark, you've got an applied marker, and the Omega Ohm logo is also applied as well. You've got the double arrow hands. You've got an arrow for the hour and the minute hand. And look at the tip of the seconds hand. I don't think this video even does it justice, but it is a beautiful kind of safety vest orange color. And that neon just absolutely really sets the stage for this watch. Just a tiny splash of color amidst the black and silver, or black and steel, whatever you want to call it, of this watch. Also, you see the profile of the watch, how we have two crowns. The crown on the right side of the watch at 3 o'clock, that's the winding crown. It's got the Omega Ohm logo on it. The crown on the left side of the watch at the 10 o'clock position is not a winding crown per se. That is the helium escape valve. And you can see on that crown, it says HE, which is the periodic symbol for helium. Divers doing decompression dives. When you're in a decompression chamber, the helium in the decompression chamber could actually blow the crystal out of your watch. The helium could actually seep through the seals, and then the pressure would build up. So you would unscrew this to vent the helium. So anyway, just a cool piece. Wanted to show this to you. Wanted you to check it out. Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean Generation 1. Comment. Let me know what you think. I always like talking watches. Until next time, that's been Dan. I'm a huge watch geek, in case you couldn't tell. Thanks for checking out my video.